I recently stopped using social media, and if you're an artist, I recommend you do the same thing because social media is absolute cancer. And I'm gonna give you my opinion on why. Because, by the title of this video, you may guess that I'm gonna talk about how social media is really bad if you're an artist because you end up comparing yourself to other artists and that gives you like depression or something because you're constantly seeing the fake reality of people. Nobody's really showing themselves on social media. Everyone's just putting on like the mask and being fake in social media for validation. But the problem I have with social media is more a motivation issue. When you spend so much time in social media, you lose a lot of motivation to do everything else, especially the healthy, slightly boring things like drawing, because it kind of messes with your dopamine, it hijacks your dopamine receptors, and that's really bad. And the problem I feel becomes when you are a very ambitious person, when you actually want to do something with your life. Because let's be honest, most people spend uh like 6 hours a day on social media. Most people are addicted to social media. That is a fact. But this is gonna sound kind of horrible, but not all people are like worth the same. Like in the sense that there are people who are going to do great things. There are some people who won't. That's just how things work. And I feel like the real disgrace comes from when someone is really talented, when somebody has a lot of potential, but they waste away in like these vices. And if somebody who doesn't have any ambition and is not going to do anything great in their lifetime, I mean, that's okay. Like, waste away as much as you want. It's still like I would like to save everyone. Look, I would like to feel sympathetic for everyone, but not everyone wants to be saved. But it's the people who have a lot of talent, but they get complacent and they're like, nah, they let themselves be consumed by the instant gratification just because it's easier. And I feel like this is the real issue. Not only because of all the time that you waste that you could be spending on doing something purposeful, which that by itself is ridiculous. I feel like that is a reason enough to already quit social media. And quitting social media right now, like honestly, social media right now is more addictive than ever before. Oh shit. Social media right now is more addictive and more engineered to be like addictive than any before. But at the same time, it's easier to quit social media now than it was before because now you have a lot more tools. Now you have a lot more resources in general. So that's really nice. And I'm gonna give you the tips that I used to quit social media again because I was really addicted. And again, it wasn't until recently that I was finally like it feels so relieving. It's like imagine being chronically offline. I've been hearing that term a lot, and it just feels so ideal, especially if you're a content creator. This can be particularly hard because I still have Instagram in my phone. I want to have Instagram, but I don't want to be addicted to it. I want to use it to post content. I don't want to use it to randomly scroll on reels or something. I don't want that. Like I don't want. It's like WhatsApp, for example. What is the purpose of me having WhatsApp in my phone? I'm not addicted to WhatsApp. I just use it for logistics. I just use it when I need it. I want it to be the same thing with Instagram, for example. So I have it in my phone, but I don't use it compulsively. And even if I do, I don't have anything fun in there. So my brain automatically kind of relaxes and it's like, oh, no, there's nothing in here that I want. There's nothing stimulating. Um, but yeah, back to the motivation thing. Let's say you got drawing. Drawing is really fun. Making art is really fun. But when you have something more stimulating, because it is really fun, but it's not in terms of stimulation, in terms of your brain getting instantaneous pleasure from it, it is really shitty. If you compare it to video games, if you compare it to scrolling, if you compare it to watching some random Netflix TV show or something, if you compare it to playing a video game, drawing or doing these healthy habits in general are really boring to your brain in terms of how long it's going to take you to get the reward and the dopamine from it. Because when you are playing a video game, let's say you're playing Call of Duty, it doesn't take you long to level up. It's going to take you maybe after a few games, you're going to level up a few levels, you're going to unlock this camouflage, and you're going to get a lot of rewards pretty quickly. But you don't really get that progression anywhere in the real world. If you I don't know, things like going to the gym, you start to realize that these things have a very similar progression to like a video game. The thing is that the rewards that you get in the video game are blisteringly fast, which again don't really happen in the real world. When you're drawing, okay, you level up. Maybe after a week you see a little bit more progress. You see maybe after a month, or maybe you go months without seeing any progress. Can you imagine that happening in a video game? Like playing a video game for a month and not seeing any progress in the levels or your skill level, whatever. That this is why we play video games, because the rewards are given to us very quickly, unlike the real world. And when you are doing these things consistently, when you are playing a lot of video games, when you're scrolling a lot, your brain will expect these very quick rewards. Your brain will expect, oh yeah, because I'm, in Call of Duty, you get this reward very quickly. I'm expecting to be the same thing when I'm drawing, so I'm gonna watch this random YouTube video that tells me how to level up so fast that it feels illegal. Fucking shut up! Holy shit! I really hate when people try to appeal to like this brain rot. People are craving for an instant solution, or people are just pretend that they have it, so they make like these clickbait titles and everything. But yeah, I really think it is a waste for someone who has a lot to offer the world. I personally think I am going to be really great, and I just couldn't live with myself thinking that I could have been better. But I'm not, because I chose pleasure over purpose, because I chose the instant gratification over the delayed gratification, over the slightly less stimulating stuff. And when you start to get so consumed by this bad habit, everything else becomes so difficult. And you notice this when you start to get demotivated, when you start to feel like purposeless, you feel like everything is just pointless. And you don't want to do the hard things, you don't want to do the healthy things, you don't want to go outside, you don't want to go talk to people, you don't want to go exercise or make or anything. You just want to rot in your bed scrolling on Instagram. And this is 100% a dopamine issue, right? Or a motivation issue. Is basically the same thing. And you gotta really focus on fixing your habits, man. Nowadays, when people feel like they have a little bit of depression, it's like, oh man, I'm feeling depressed. Let me take these pills. Let me medicate myself in order to not feel the depression anymore. It is not about, a magic pill that's gonna make you feel better, or it's not about, I don't know, you start taking drugs or something. It's about that, you're just not doing the good habits. You're letting yourself be consumed by cheap dopamine, and that is making everything else boring. That's making you not wanting to do anything else, because there is no purpose. Like, what is the purpose of doing anything else? What is the purpose of doing hard things if you already have access to like the cheapest form of dopamine and the cheapest form of pleasure in your hands? And again, we all know social media is addictive. Unfortunately for us, these evil fucking companies won, and most people, the majority of the human race, is right now, as we speak, addicted to social media. It is okay. Like, it is like an objective thing that we cannot change, the fact that social media is objectively addictive, but we can at least fight against it. And this is my issue. I like social media a lot. I like scrolling on memes and reels and doing that for hours. But I challenge the habit. I say I'm not okay with this. I'm gonna do something about it. And even if I end up relapsing after a while, at least you try to fight against it. You can. What I do is that I set up the screen time settings in my, like, you have screen time restrictions in your phone, so at least you can limit the amount of time that Instagram is available to you, or maybe YouTube if that's the thing you're addicted to, whatever, or maybe video games. You can literally do the same thing. Or because I was really addicted to Instagram, Instagram just released like a new setting to modify or personalize your algorithm yourself. So what I did was I got into like the Instagram algorithm settings, and I made my algorithm as boring as humanly possible, as boring as I could, so I don't get the urges to consume Instagram anymore. So, I have Instagram in my phone right now, but I don't consume it. I just create content. Like, I am a content creator, not a content consumer. And if you're a YouTuber, if you're an artist, whatever, do the same thing. It's not good for you to be on these platforms, because it is really soul consuming. Again, if you're a normal person and you don't have any purpose in life, any direction, it's like, yeah, whatever, do whatever you want. But it becomes a lot more painful when you actually have a lot of ambition and a lot of greatness in you, a lot of potential. It becomes more painful because you know you could be really good. You know you could be doing something purposeful right now and you could be leveling up. And you're not really doing any favor to humanity by depriving the world from your gifts, you know? I feel like that's something people forget when they're wasting away. It's not only you, other people who will eventually look up to you. You know, it's like they are also expecting the best of you. Imagine having to say, yeah, it could have been better, but this Netflix show was too good, or I wanted to level up in Call of Duty. You know, yeah, I got to maximum prestige in Call of Duty. Nobody gives a fuck, but your legacy will remain in the amount of hard work that you put in. And I know there will be some people who will defend like things like video games or social media. Oh, I'm just doing this to unwind, bro. Like if you don't know me, I have been addicted to video games, especially for most of my life. And so a few years ago, I stopped playing video games. I just gave away my computer, so I don't have it anymore, and I can't play any video games that I liked. And that was the best decision that I made because now I can focus 100% in my goals and I don't have these distractions because video games are really fun. But that's the issue, precisely, that they're so fun that they take away your motivation to do anything else. So, you know, if there's someone's going to comment, oh, I actually don't agree. I think you should play video games for 6 hours a day or everything in moderation. Look, if you want to be average, if you want to be like a normal person, okay, just you do you, whatever. But if you want to be great, if you want to achieve outstanding results, your habits need to be outstanding. Your discipline, your work ethic has to be outstanding. It has to be extraordinary. Otherwise, you can't expect to be anything else more than average. I don't want to be average. Honest to God, the idea of being average makes me sick to my fucking stomach. Yeah, man. I know this wasn't a particularly valuable video, but hopefully you can get something from this and you can maybe take some action. Because honestly, it is okay that you have an addiction to social media, but the thing is not okay. It's that you're not fighting against it. It's that you are not doing anything about it. That's the real killer. So, you know, at least try to do something. Try to enable the screen time settings like I told you I did, or mess with your algorithm to I don't know what I did was telling my algorithm, yeah, Instagram, I don't like funny memes anymore. I don't want you to show me any more shit posting. Now I want to see makeup videos. I want to see girls doing their makeup. And of course, I don't want to see that. So whenever I go onto Instagram, I don't want to touch the fucking, like the reels section because it is just really boring. So that's nice. Anyways, thank you for hearing me ramble. And, you know, stop living life like a crackhead. Stop scrolling on Instagram. Stop playing video games and, you know, just being medicated in life. Take care, bro. I love you.